Siomra Beag.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to On Siomra Beag. Welcome back to the digital tiny room. I am, for the last time ever, the Michael of the podcast, Michael and Benjamin's podcast. And I am joined for the last time ever on the podcast, Michael and Benjamin's podcast, the man who supports the only side which is in the right in the ongoing Israel-Palestine conflict. It's Benjamin.
That's me. I picked the right one. Which one is it? Tune in next week.
Very good, Benjamin. Very non-committal to your politics.
Yeah, that's me. Old flip-flop Colopy. That's what they call me. Michael, I've written a somber ditty in commemoration of this being the final time. Would you like to hear it?
I would like to hear the last and final ever ditty that you've performed for Michael and Benjamin's podcast.
Very well.
Theme music for the podcast. We don't actually have any theme music, but I hope someone will make some up for us. I don't wanna name any names. Rachel, I hope it's Rachel.
Very good. It was the same as always.
There's no change.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back and put the original in.
Oh,
Well, I put the original in.
That would be good.
I'll put the original in, Ben.
I'd enjoy that.
Let's close the circle if I can find it. Benjamin.
Yes.
We'll get to that later, of course. But Benjamin, is there any trailers this week, do you think?
Oh, Michael, we've been inundated with trailers. We're being smacked about the head with trailers, Michael.
It's a deluge of trailers, Ben.
A deluge of trailers, a truckload of trailers if you're
Benjamin,
into alliteration.
We tried to deploy the Iron Dome to stop the trailers from getting in, but some of them made it through.
Damn them. Damn them. I don't know what that means.
It's an
What does that mean?
Israel-Palestine thing again, Ben.
Oh,
I'm gonna
God.
keep
Okay.
dropping it this week. I'm going to keep dropping it in there, just so it remains
this
in the
is the week.
consciousness, Ben.
Okay. This is the week we get. Shadow banned from all of our platforms. Good. Good. So one of the things we missed last week, Michael, that came out was Sweet Tooth.
What's that about?
Sweet Tooth, Michael, is based on a comic book by one Jeff Lemire. If you fancy hearing more about Jeff Lemire, go check out our other podcast, at Collecting Issues, which is pretty much the Jeff Lemire podcast fancast.
Benjamin.
Yes.
I, for the first time last week, saw a photograph of Jeff Lemire, and I'll tell you what, Benjamin, he looks every inch the Benjamin. Benjamin, he's you.
He's me. I am Jeff Lemire. Surprise!
That would be a great
I
twist,
got
wouldn't
you.
it? If this whole podcast had been co-hosted by Jeff Lemire the whole time, and even I didn't know. If you just ripped off, Ben, if you just ripped off a rubber mask, revealing an exactly identical face, and said, "It's me, Jeff Lemire," and I said, "Oh shit, how did I not see it?"
Oh, that explains why you keep talking about the Southern Gothic and how difficult things were with your papa.
Yeah.
Sweet Tooth, Michael, coming from that, is a post-apocalyptic, little strange comic book from Vertigo Comics back in the day. And it was kind of a 90s, well, not a 90s, early 2000s sensation. And it's about a little fella.
Yeah, a little small fella, yeah.
Little small fella. He's got little antlers, Michael. He's got little antlers. He's a little human animal hybrid.
Are you thinking of Horns with Daniel Radcliffe?
No, I'm thinking of Sweet Tooth by Jeff Lemire.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And it's a post-apocalyptic world, and he's got to survive, Michael. But of course, there's people hunting him because he's a weird little freak boy.
Oh.
And that's no good. And it's a story about acceptance and learning to love yourself and being different and how that's okay, but with adult themes because it's Jeff Lemire.
Yes, Benjamin. First of all, it was published in 2009, so you're nearly a decade out there.
Sure look.
But sure look, Ben, sure listen. Benjamin, sure look, what was I going to say?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, so my understanding of Sweet Tooth, Ben, and I haven't read much of it, but I've read a little smattering here and there of it, is slivers and jivers. Benjamin, it's quite weird and unpleasant, and the world is, it's very Jeff Lemire-y.
Oh no.
Have you read it, Ben?
I haven't.
You haven't read any of it?
No, we should probably do it on the bi-weekly comic book club Collecting Issues.
We
at some
probably
point.
should, Ben. But look, my main concern about this show, having just watched the trailer, Ben, it looks very generic.
Netflix seems to be pulling out none of the stops, Michael.
None. They said, shall we pull out some of the stops, boss? And the boss of Netflix says, God damn it, you leave every last one of those stops in.
You leave those firmly where they are.
We blew our entire comic book budget on Jupiter's Legacy, so you don't take out a single one of those stops.
In fairness, boss, if that was pulling out all the stops, I don't think it would make a difference if we pulled out all the stops.
Yes.
Ooh,
Benjamin,
got him.
Netflix is very rapidly becoming the home for low-budget generic comic book stuff, unfortunately.
It's become the Disney Channel, Michael. Just churned content with low production values a lot of the time.
I'm not saying that Sweet Tooth, from what we've seen of it, has low production values. It just looks very generic. It doesn't have any style or substance to it by the look of it.
Yes, it's let's get some actors, put them on a set, film them, and let's make it faithful. And I think Netflix has kind of taken faithful to mean just do exactly what it does in the comic. Just do what it says in the tin.
But Ben, did you see the trailer, Ben?
Yes, I did.
What did you think of the color grading, Ben?
There is no color grading,
it's
Michael.
just the
What are you
normal
talking
world.
about?
It looks exactly like every other Netflix show.
Yeah, it's no good. It could be 13 Reasons Why.
It could be Jessica Shores.
It could be Jessica... What?
Jessica Shores, about that woman who goes to Jessica Shores to... You know that one? She goes to escape from the big city.
And get the ride.
I think she does get the ride, yeah. It could be
Yeah,
then.
she does.
It could be... Do you know what I'm talking about?
Chepasaki Shores or whatever
Jessica
that
Shores,
goddamn
that's
show
what I
is.
said.
Jessica Shores. Jessica Shores, Michael.
It could be any of those.
Look, Michael, it's a far cry. It's a far cry from the early days of the old Daredevil series, Michael, where everything was color graded to an nth degree.
Looking back on Daredevil, Ben, perhaps too much even.
Perhaps too much, Michael. You remember you and I, Michael, parodied Daredevil once by doing a little introduction trailer, and I color graded us both to the nines.
Yes, I do remember that.
It all matched to that show.
Quite amazing.
And you didn't realize it was a joke, Michael. You said, "Oh, you've done a good job there. Those are very similar to the show."
Yes. But
Because
Ben,
they poured all the grading.
they just poured all the color grading. They used it all up. Making Daredevil blue, Luke Cage yellow, Iron Fist green, and Jessica Jones purple. And now they've got no color grading left.
They've used it all. Would you like some more grading? I would. Oh, sorry, sir. We're all out.
Can you pull out some of the stops and release some more color? It's like, no, leave them in. We're on a budget
that's
here.
not this kind of establishment.
Have you ever heard of Amazon Plus?
Amazon Plus.
Yes.
Everyone's favorite delivery service,
Disney
Amazon
Prime.
Plus. Disney Prime. Disney Prime has very strange connotations. I don't know why it sounds so strange.
Yeah, it
Disney
sounds like
Prime sounds ominous.
Sounds like it's coming to get you. Oh shit, Disney Prime is on its way.
Anyway, Sweet Tooth looks no good.
Yeah, it looks very generic, Ben. I don't know if I can stomach any more generic Netflix stuff.
That's all they seem to be doing ever since. Like anything we've watched in the last year, Michael, from Netflix has been middling.
Well, we'll have a chat about that later, won't we, Ben?
We bloody will. Michael, then I got something with lots of colour grading.
Go on.
There's another trailer out there. It's called The Green Knight, Michael.
Yeah, I saw it.
The Green Knight is starring Dev Patel, and it's from A24, Michael. The lads over at A24
Never
who
heard
make
of
a
them.
good film.
Never heard of
They
them.
make Hereditary, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Bloody Midsummer, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, get out of here. You've heard of them.
Yeah, put him in the fire.
Yeah, they're a great bunch of lads.
Yeah.
They're a great bunch of lads.
So is this another horror film from the lads at A24?
It's not, Michael, because over the last couple of years, Michael, A24 has been branching out. They started almost exclusively as an horror brand.
Right.
And now what they're doing is, because they make so much bloody money off their horror films, Michael, which people seem to enjoy immensely, they've started kind of branching out as they go along. So this is their attempt at a fantasy film. And this is one of the oldest stories going, Michael. This is one of the early English tales. This is Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, adapted into film starring one Dev Patel. And Sir Gawain and the Green Knight is a fascinating Arthurian legend, Michael.
Go on.
Sir Gawain is one of the Knights of the Round Table, and King Arthur is holding court at the Round Table with all the knights, when all of a sudden, Michael, this big swamp thing looking motherfucker comes in the door, and he's like, hello, I am the Green Knight.
I'm the Green Knight.
And I've always imagined him as Welsh, so hello, I'm the Green Knight, and I want to have a challenge with one of your boys. And so he challenges one of the lads to hop up and cut his head off.
Oh, yeah.
He has to kill him in one blow, Michael. So Sir Gawain steps up and he's like, all right, boys.
I'll do this.
I'll give it a go. Hey. and swings the L-blade, cuts the head clean off, Michael. Everyone's like, "Way, good job, Gawain. Well,
Oh,
good
mate,
man."
quick, cheeky Nando's,
Oh.
mate.
Cheeky Nando's.
Fucking chop off Green Knight's head, cheeky Nando's, few pints, job sorted, mate.
Way. And then then the Green Knight goes, "Oh, hold on a minute," and he's not dead, Michael. And
Not dead
then in a year's time, Gawain has to meet him at his kingdom, and the Green Knight is to return the favor.
Oh no.
So what it is in its initial text, Michael, is a kind of an examination of honor and what a knight's code should be and how a knight should behave in the court of King Arthur. And it's a really old tale, Michael, and I think it looks beautiful. Now, I don't know if it's any good, but it looks lovely.
Yeah. Benjamin.
Yes.
The tree man looks like he's done with prosthetics rather than CGs.
Which is cool. I'm into that. I'm not entirely against a decent set of prosthetics.
Yeah. I've heard that about you, man. Oh, lovely pair of prosthetics, boys. Benjamin.
Why am I a captain on a sea ship?
Oh, boys, we've got to get aboard this shanty. What am I saying? Benjamin.
Yes.
Speaking of well-done prosthetics being better than CGI, have you seen the trailer for Venom?
The one with no lovely sets of prosthetics.
Yeah, no prosthetics whatsoever, Venom.
Yeah, so we have CGI 2, Electric Boogaloo, coming out soon, starring one Thomas Harding.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy's back as Venom, doing both voices. There's a cute little cafe scene, Michael. We got the trailer this week. It's "You say potato, I say potato."
Was it?
It's the what's the song?
That's entirely the wrong song, Ben.
Is it "How do you like your eggs in the morning"?
No, it was "One is the loneliest number."
No, but the one that Venom sings while he's cooking the breakfast, Michael.
Oh, when he's having breakfast.
He's doing a classic American standard duet, but Tom Hardy
okay.
is having none of it. He's like, "Oh, why did I bond my life to a symbiote? Why did I think this would be a good idea?" And then nobody thought that was a good idea, Tom. Well, that seems a very dangerous decision.
Benjamin, $1.3 billion worth of people thought it was a good idea for some reason.
That's true. That's true. For some reason.
Yeah.
So, Michael, we're getting Let There Be Carnage, and the trailer has come, the teaser at the end of the original Venom film has come full circle, and we've got one Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, Woodward Harreltington.
Yeah, Harreltington the third.
Yes.
And he's playing Cletus Cassidy.
Yes.
And Cletus Cassidy is a psychotic serial killer. I think most of them are.
Yeah.
Probably an oxymoron there. But yeah, so he's back and he has the Venom symbiote. They seem to have a pre-existing relationship based on the overdub that we heard in the trailer. Because he says, "Oh, Eddie, you're back again."
They're going to have to, aren't they? So, Ben, was Eddie also a mental patient? Or was Eddie the reporter who tracked down Cletus Cassidy?
This is the question to make, Michael. Now, I think your latter statement there is probably going to be more accurate. I think this is a sins of one Thomas Harrington's, Thomas Harding's past, and I think Eddie Brock's past is coming back to haunt him, and I think that's why Cletus Cassidy might be obsessed with him, or he could have had mental health issues in the past. But I think it's more likely, Michael, that it's because we didn't get any hint of that in the first film. Not that would stop them, Michael. $1.3 billion has probably made them very brazen.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever the heck you like.
Yeah.
I still struggle with the fact that Spider-Man is nowhere to be seen in this. There is a spider in the trailer, Michael.
There's a little
drops down
spider,
from
Ben.
the ceiling.
There's a little spider. And there are multiple hints that the awful Sony universe is going to eventually merge into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Although it's kind of like one of those situations where you're at a dinner party and so people say, "So what's going on with you guys?" And then one person says, "Oh yeah, we're dating." And then the other one says, "It's nothing serious though."
Oh, that's awkward, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's uncomfortable. That's uncomfortable for everyone in the room.
Or Sharon says, "This is my new boyfriend." And her new boyfriend says, "I don't think it's that serious."
Oh, boyfriend? Can I talk to you over here?
Just
for a minute?
let's have a chat over here for a second. I'm actually married.
How often do you think
Kevin
Sony gets
Feige.
pulled? How often do you think Sony gets pulled over into the corner and be like, "Look, I like you, I do. Look, you're great, but I'm not comfortable with that intensity.
Yeah. And then they say, but Venom made $1.3 billion. And then Marvel goes, oh, okay then.
Oh,
Yes. Have I told you you're very attractive in this light Sony cinematic universe?
This is your light, which is mostly dark with no lighting, because it's cheaper to do CGI that way.
Yeah. Very bad CGI then.
So, Michael, we saw Cletus Cassidy at the end there in full Carnage gear. And that was kind of cool.
He looks like Carnage.
Carnage in full flow. The Carnage Venom backstory is very convoluted at this point, Michael. They have a very unusual relationship. They are father and son, theoretically, or parent and offspring.
Hermaphroditic offspring.
Hermaphroditic offspring, correct, Michael. And that's why they often refer to themselves as they. I think it would be very interesting if the trans community suddenly adopted them as like the poster boy.
Oh no!
of superhero films.
Don't know. This is a good look for you, Ben.
Probably isn't. But sure, anyway. It's a really unusual relationship, Michael. But without Spider-Man, I just don't get it.
I don't get it, Ben. I don't get it.
Like, I mean, again, $1.3 billion would argue the opposite.
Yeah.
Lots of people get it. Yeah. But like Venom is essentially the foil to Spider-Man. He's the dark side of Spider-Man, and it just there's a whole obsession thing there that we don't get to see anymore, Michael.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like having a Joker film without Batman in it. Oh no,
almost.
They did that, Ben. $1.3 billion, if I remember correctly.
Shit.
Maybe Ben. Yeah, this is it. We've stumbled upon it. The key is to take an iconic villain who exists as a flip side of a hero and then bloody Skeletor the movie.
Just
get in and just do Skeletor the movie. It's nothing to do with He-Man or the Masters of the Universe. It's just Skeletor the movie, and he's kind of an anti-hero, and he's upset because he's got a skeleton face, and that's it. That's the whole film. $1.3
Michael, I did that
billion.
pitch.
You did, yeah.
I did that pitch. That pitch is here on this podcast.
Yeah, Ben, but your mistake was you had He-Man in it.
I also didn't finish that pitch. It's just sitting there.
Classic
never
Ben.
finished. Both of my pitches, Michael, have laid dormant. My Dead Man pitch and my thing. Anyway, God, we're very reminiscent today, Michael. I wonder why that
might be, Ben.
Michael, moving on from there, you watched something on Netflix this week.
Benjamin. Speaking of generic shite on Netflix, 2.5 years ago or whatever, we thoroughly enjoyed and didn't enjoy and were fairly indifferent on some of the various different stories in season 1 of the show Love and or Robots.
Love and or Robots, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson.
Why? No, that's
that's
that is
the
a
film
thing.
Her.
That's the film Her. Yeah, you've done Her, and she was robots. So that actually does make sense, Ben. We watched Love, Death, and Robots, Ben. We liked some of them. We
didn't like others.
We didn't like others. We liked there's mechanoids on the farming planet. We liked that one.
Farmer mechs.
We liked Watch
Red
Out, There's
mechs.
Vampires.
Oh, wait. Go back to my joke. Red mechs.
Red mechs, very good. We liked...
that was excellent.
Yeah, Watch Out, There's Vampires in this crypt.
Look, some spooky boys down there. Don't know. We bring a cat.
Yeah, bring cats. We enjoyed This Lady Doesn't Like Men and Now She's a Robot Fox.
That was good.
That was a good one too. You know, some of them were quite memorable, Ben. Some of them I can't remember at all.
Because they were fairly... We didn't enjoy Mary Elizabeth Winst and Topher Grass.
Yeah. What's going on in my freezer?
What's going on in my freezer. Alternate history was a bit of a... It didn't really land, Michael. It was interesting to see what kind of happened. Weird Yogurt was good. I remember being very quirky but enjoyable. The one I enjoyed... Oh, the one I really liked, Michael, was Why Does This Man Keep Chasing Me? Groundhog Day. That was a good one. Do you remember that one?
Remember that one? I didn't remember that one. That's interesting.
That one was very good.
It's cyberpunk, but there's a man after me.
Yeah, my least favourite of those, Michael, was I'm a big scary monster lady in a suit. Which one am I? Am I the lady or am I the monster?
Yeah.
And that's because they use trauma as a storyline, which I never enjoy, Michael.
Yeah, you didn't like that bit. Benjamin, anyway, it's back.
It's back, yeah. It's made it. It's Return of the Return of the Mech.
It's back for a much truncated season 2.
What's truncated, Michael? Sorry.
Shortened.
Oh.
I think there are 8 episodes only in season 2, Ben. So I watched them all in the space of half an afternoon.
Oh, well, that's good.
Because there are 8 episodes, Ben, with an average length of about 7 minutes. So, you know,
And
it's all over in under 2 hours, I think.
well, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. And I tell you what, Ben, wildly varying quality once again.
Ah.
Some interesting ideas, some not so interesting ideas.
Okay, Michael.
Some interesting art styles, some not so interesting art styles.
Okay, Michael.
Yeah. Some very similar stories, in fact. So, Ben, the first episode and the second last or penultimate episode, Ben, they both revolve around domestic appliances trying to kill you.
That was in the first one, Michael.
What happened in the first one, Ben?
They had the domestic appliance that turned into a god of art and architecture, and then turned himself back into a domestic appliance because he was bored with the light.
Oh,
with life
yeah,
in
that
the
fella.
universe.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not quite that extreme. It's more, Ben. Imagine it's the future for me. There, would you imagine it's the future for me?
Okay, I'm there. I have a big bushy beard.
You have a great big bushy beard. It's the future, and Ben, appliances have become so smart and so dangerous that luckily, thankfully for their program, it's only for the grace of good programming that they keep us safe and do what they're asked. But Ben, imagine if that programming went wrong.
Oh, that wouldn't be any good.
And your appliance decided that it was time to get rid of you. Now, Ben, I want you to imagine that scenario in 2 different scenarios.
Okay.
One, a comedy set in a retirement home with grotesque animated characters.
Okay.
And 2, a serious space drama episode with a copy of Michael B. Jordan.
Ooh.
Yeah, which one sounds more interesting to you?
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, well, they're about the same.
Okay, they're both the same.
Yeah, it's just the same story.
It's the exact same thing both times.
There's some good ones, Ben. There's some interesting ones. There's one called The Tall Grass or The Long Grass. I'm not sure entirely.
Ooh.
It has an interesting art style, Ben, where it's clearly, it's 3D animated.
Okay.
But the 3D animations look very much, Ben, like they've been skinned with watercolor.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if it would hold up to, like, a full movie's length, but it has an interesting story about a man getting off a train when he was told not to get off the train.
Oh, you shouldn't get off the train if you're told not to get off the train.
Yeah, because there could be something bad in the tall grass. There could be.
Yeah, but you don't get off the train. If somebody tells you not to get off a train, Michael, right?
Yeah.
If somebody comes to you and they're a bit sweaty, they're a bit pallid, they look like they're having a bit of a panic, and they say to you, hey, come here to me, don't get off the train in this random spot in the middle of nowhere. Because, I've been doing this run for 40 years.
Yeah, in all my days, you never get off the train, boy.
And that's probably why you shouldn't get off the train, Michael.
Yeah.
Just maybe defer to a conductor's experience and not get off the train.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Do you remember the animated short, Oh No, the Sexy Lady's a Spider Monster?
Yes, Beyond a Keeler Rift.
Was that part of Love, Death and Monsters?
It was.
There's nothing in this one that has that level of, oh no, what's gone wrong here?
That makes me sad.
Yeah, it's... I don't think... I mean, quality-wise, animation-wise, these are good and interesting, and there's some fun but small twists in them.
Okay.
But none of them, I think, are going to live in my memory or imagination and have me want to go back to that world.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Because the unnerving quality of the first season was what got me a lot of the times. There were several, even the less memorable ones. For example, look at all them neon sky monsters up there. Best not go swimming with them out in Arizona. I bet you don't remember that episode, Michael, because that was a weird one.
I only vaguely remember it having a kind of Hunter S. Thompson on drugs aesthetic.
Yeah, and then the young fella goes off and swims with them, but he shouldn't have done that, Michael, because then he floats into the stratosphere, and it's weird. I
will tell you this though, Ben.
Yeah.
This one, from what I remember, and slight spoilers here, because I've done my best to avoid spoilers, basically, but slight spoilers here. This one has no bad endings.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't think it does. Thinking back, I think the protagonists escape or survive or win or defeat the robot, or I think they do in every case.
What's the point in that?
I know, Ben.
Where's your tragedy?
Not
Where's
a
your
single,
pathos?
not a single lesson learned. Not a single moral imparted.
Where's your big scary spider lady?
She's not there, Ben. She's like, oh no, the sexy lady was a scary spider. None of that.
Where's your big tomb full of Draculas?
Like, there's plenty of endings, Ben, that imply, oh, that could have gone much worse. But they don't.
But it's not the same, is it?
No,
when everybody gets away with it.
Maybe that's what bothered me about it, and I've only realised it now.
We live in a post-happy ending society, Michael.
Do we though, or are we back to happy endings now?
Well, given the state of the world at the moment, perhaps it's not. Perhaps the mental health of humanity.
Just make them all happy. But it's about robots
them-
killing all of humanity. Make it happy.
Make it happy. Did you watch The Mitchells versus the Machines as well? That was another Netflix one that came out 2 weeks ago, but it doesn't bear relevance here. Michael, that's unusual. We should probably do an episode on that.
We'll do an episode.
The popularity of happy endings. We'll get a lot of strange clicks.
Yeah. Benjamin.
Yeah.
I have something I want to talk about, and I forgot to put in the running order. Can I squeeze it in for 4 minutes?
Go on. Yes.
Benjamin,
Squeeze it in there.
I've been watching The Nevers, the television show The Nevers.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
And it's quite good, Ben. I watched episode 5 there recently.
Okay.
And in episode 5, Ben, spoilers coming, sorry. Here come spoilers for The Nevers. And in episode 5, Ben, they're planning to dig a hole through London to rescue the Galanthe, so that Amelia can get back to it.
Okay.
Right.
That's it? That's all you want to talk about?
Well, what's your thoughts on that, Ben, rescuing the Galanthe?
What's the Galanthe?
Exactly, Ben.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. So episode 5 starts with all of the characters having new motivations. Some characters in new places and positions, and everyone talking about the Galanthe as though they've already known about it. You know what they've gone and done, Ben?
Bloody Captain America and the
No,
Winter
Ben.
Soldier.
No, Ben. They've played it out of order.
Oh, that's not
I'm
smart.
90% sure, Ben. There are two things that might have happened. Number one is they've played episode 6 in the place of episode 5.
Okay.
Happening number 2 is they never got around to filming episode 5 because of COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, it's jarring, Ben, to say the very least. It is incredibly jarring.
That's not the first time that's happened to Joss Whedon.
Which is why I wanted to bring it up, Ben. It's what killed, well, one of the contributing factors that killed Firefly.
Yes.
Was that it was played out of order because the networks wanted to start with an action-packed episode. So they made them start at mid-season and then fill in the character establishing episodes later. And then it has happened again, and it is truly bizarre.
It's very embarrassing for everyone involved, Michael. That's no good.
I don't know, Ben. I don't know. I do not know what has happened. Very strange. Very unpleasant. I had to pause the episode a couple of times and check I hadn't missed one. And now, there's no official confirmation that I've missed one. But absolutely certain that something has happened.
Network TV, they just don't get it.
But it's not Network TV. It's HBO Max.
It's a little bit network TV though.
I suppose.
A little bit network TV
there's
though.
a hint of network TV. It's a very strange experience though, and it's jarring, Ben. It's jarring. Like, you have characters in the orphanage who, the last we met them, were new and mysterious characters, and now they're just hanging about the orphanage, and you go, "What? When did you
Wait.
When did you arrive? Last time we saw you, you were a mystery, and now you're just hanging about here." Very
just
strange.
chilling.
Very, very strange, Ben. Very unpleasant.
Yeah, I don't. That must have been. I feel bad for you, Michael, because I had no interest in it past episode 1, really. But I feel bad for you, Michael, because you've committed, right? You've said to yourself, do you know what? I'll give it a whirl.
I'll give it a watch.
I'll give it a watch.
Let's see.
And
what
you've
it
gone,
is.
and you've committed yourself to one Josiah Whedon.
I haven't now. Let's not say that.
Okay, well, it's too late. I've said it now, and it's a fact. and you've committed yourself to one Josiah Weed, and you follow all his teachings and principles, and you've really given it socks.
I'm a real son of a bitch to employees. I'll bully any woman you can find.
I'd like to say on the podcast that's categorically untrue, Michael.
No, Ben, don't. It ruins the comedy.
I want that.
It ruins the comedy.
I don't know if I want that out there about you, Michael.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Shut up for a second. Very strange.
Okay.
Very, very strange. Very unpleasant. Let's not see it again. That's what I'm saying.
You've given up, Michael?
Well, no. On the other hand, it has also absolutely fascinated me now from a meta perspective. If I really want to know what has happened there, and when are we going to find out what has happened? Is next week's episode going to be even more confusing because it's episode 5 in the place of episode 6, and they'll be telling us what the Galanthe is, and we'll be
we've already pieced that together from the fact that we had to watch it on the fly.
Yeah. We're going to find out why Augie suddenly is part of the gang now.
Oh, Augie's part of the gang now?
He's part of the gang, Ben. He was in the orphanage just hanging about going on missions.
What?
Yeah.
What?
He wasn't last episode, but now he is.
He is very much the... What was the name of the nerd character in Dollhouse?
Ben.
Was it actually?
No, Topher.
Topher. Yeah, he's a real Topher.
He's a Topher. He's a Wesley Wyndham Price. He's, he's any of Joss Whedon's classic nerdy fop who goes on to be hardened warrior characters.
You're Xander.
Yeah. Maybe not Xander so much, but in season 6 of The Nevers, he'll be standing in front of the enemies, and he'll go, "Do you know what his powers are, Ben?"
No, I don't, Michael. Go on.
Yeah. So small spoilers again. He can control birds.
I mean, that doesn't shock me, Michael, given the amount of time you've spent bloody stroking crows in the first episode.
Exactly, Ben. But he'll be standing in front of the enemies and he'll just go, "Ah!" And then hundreds of crows will fly at them. Like Snow White in Shrek 3.
You'd like to see that again, Michael, put it in live action.
Yeah.
Very good.
Benjamin.
Michael, yes. Speaking of damp squibs that don't land.
Oh, very good.
You and I have come to a very, very auspicious occasion, Michael.
Go on.
You and I have reached our 200th fucking episode.
Yeah, or Ben, potentially our 198th or 204th, depending on how you count that weird period when we did 2 a week.
Yeah, we're not counting that. That doesn't count. We're on the 200.
All right, it's 200.
We're on the 200.
Don't question it. This is not the time or the place to question it.
This is not the time or the place. Michael, you and I are still doing this podcast, and we're still not sick of the sight of each other.
No, I wouldn't say that, Ben.
You asked me to turn my camera off every episode, and I don't know what that's about. But, I think we get on just fine.
All right, good. Well, I'm not saying nothing.
You know what? That's sound. Do you know what hasn't? Always gone so well, though? Our bloody predictions, or pop culture in general, during our, what is it now, 3.5 year tenure?
3.5 years, Ben?
3.5 years of this shit.
Right.
Man, never, ladies and gentlemen, never sign a deal with a man dressed all in red in a tavern at a portside town when you're down on your luck and there's a storm outside. Because you know what happens? You get to do a bloody pop culture podcast for 3.5 years.
It's the devil.
It's the devil himself. No, it's Michael Leonard. He just made me sign a bloody agreement and I was too drunk to notice. And now I'm in a podcast. But ladies and gentlemen, we decided on this most auspicious of occasions to take a look and see really what's stuck and what's not throughout our entire 3.5 year career. And there's been quite a few flops and quite a few sensations, Michael.
Go on.
We mentioned one of them earlier. One of that caught both of us off guard, Michael. 1.3 billion for one Venom.
Ben, still don't get it. Don't get the popularity of Venom.
It's not a good film.
It's not a good film, Ben. It's got Tom Hardy in it, and he is beloved. It's got a very small cameo from Ben, the man whose name is even more ridiculous than the fake name I made up earlier, Woodrow Tracy Harrelson.
Yes.
But it's not a good film, Ben. It's murky, it's gross, the tone is all over the place, the special effects are nothing special. Tom Hardy jumps into a fish tank and eats some lobsters. It's no
comedy
use.
is weird.
Comedy is weird. The superheroics are fairly flat and boring.
Yeah.
Why, Ben? Why was this such a hit?
China.
Was it?
Grand bunch of lads.
Was it China? It probably was quite successful in China.
There was the scene where, because what's his name? Rampage? Who's the evil? Riot? Who's the evil symbiote?
I can't remember what his name was in that.
It began with an R. Anyway, Riz Ahmed is the host for that one. And he lands in China, I think, and works his way back from China. And that scene was included entirely so that we could say Chinese, great bunch of lads.
Great bunch of lads.
Yeah, and that's there. So I think it made most of its money there, Michael. I still don't think it's a great film. It's been on TV a couple of times, and I've kind of given it a rewatch just to see, what it's all about. It's not about anything. It's
not about anything, Ben. It doesn't have a theme. It doesn't have a message. It barely has a plot.
No, it has Tom Hardy saying, "Oh, I don't like corruption. It's not great. I'm a reporter. I track people down." And he loses his job because he's a bit of a twat. He's a bit of a cheeky twat, and he loses his job. And then he finds a magic symbiote, and they decide to save the world together. They don't grow as people.
Nope.
He's still a shitty person. He just decides, I'll do it anyway. And then Michelle, what's her name? Michelle Williams is in it.
Yeah,
she's
a sexy
there.
lady Venom, Ben.
And we get a sexy lady Venom for no reason, because Venoms are asexual. They're genderless. They're
The funny thing about it, Ben, and I mean, what really inspired this episode, Ben, was like big budget productions or big event things that leave no cultural residue behind. And and I mean, for me, and this is outside the remit of Michael and Benjamin's podcast, Ben, because it was a long time ago. But the shining paragon example of this is Avatar.
Yes.
Because Avatar, Ben, made what, $3 billion?
Yes.
Or was it 2?
It's too much. Either way.
It
made too much money.
Too much dollars. Too many dollars, Ben. And the bizarre thing about it is that it has left no cultural impact whatsoever.
Not one.
Not a single one, Ben.
I have never met an Avatar fan.
No, because as far as pop culture is concerned, they don't exist, Ben. I mean, I'm trying to make a point here, but I know the name of the main character for some reason, and I know the name of Zoe Saldana's character. But
I just know Sully.
Jake Sully.
And the reason I know that, Michael, is I remember thinking, that's ballsy. There's already been a big blue monster called Sully. It's interesting that you've decided to do that again. And that's the only reason I know that. There was Sully from Monsters, Inc.
Yeah. But,
big
I mean,
blue monster.
No cultural impact, Ben. I mean, think about the other one, Ben. Titanic, Ben.
Oh, Michael.
So much cultural impact.
Such weight, Ben.
I mean, first of all, it spawned a wave of similar films. Pearl Harbor, for example, your favourite from Michael Bay.
Oh, what a winning film.
Benjamin, I don't think there's a single person in the world who can see a steamy car and not put their hand on it and put it down the back window and pretend you're Rose and Jack having sex in the car. No one can not do that.
No one can, Michael. Every time I've had sex in the back of the car, I haven't been able to resist.
You just put your hand up and you go, Benjamin, there's not a man alive on the planet who can go on a ship and not go to the front of the ship and go, I'm the king of the world.
My Instagram feed and Facebook feed is still filled, Michael.
Yes.
with men in their 30s doing that exact thing.
Exactly, Ben.
Anytime they're on any kind of seafaring vessel.
Anything, Ben. A canoe.
A dinghy. It doesn't matter.
Fucking doesn't matter. A jet ski. Benjamin. Yeah. And yet, when is the last time you saw anyone going, I'm Jake Sully, motherfuckers? It
shifting
doesn't happen,
trees.
Shifting trees, connecting their weird sex rods.
Oh, do you remember the sex rods?
No impact, Ben. Avatar had no impact. And Venom is exactly the same. You tell me one quote from Venom, you tell me one scene from Venom that has infiltrated popular culture. Nothing. Yeah. Even, Ben, think about Avengers Endgame. A similarly massive film.
Yes.
Okay. It's not going to have the cultural impact of Titanic. But at least we got I Love You 3000. That stuck around.
That stuck.
Avengers Assemble stuck around.
I Am Inevitable.
Portals. Yeah, on your left. There's so much of that has influence. And the fact, Ben, of course, that now everyone is trying to do an Avengers Endgame.
Everybody and their mothers.
What was the film we saw, Ben, that was another attempt? Oh, Star Wars. Star Wars, There's Too Many Jedis.
Yeah.
Where they attempted to do the same thing of having all the characters from the past showing up and say... Terrible film. But that's a cultural impact. Venom, nothing.
Nothing.
Tell me
No
one line
memes.
from Venom, Ben.
Oh, I'm Tom Hardy. I'm getting the... No, that's... No, sorry.
You're
That's my
fucking
impression.
nicked, mate.
I mean, I'm American.
Is he American in it?
He's supposed to be American in it,
Yeah. No good.
No
Don't
good.
Like it.
No
Don't
good.
like it.
Venom's no good. There were other ones, Michael, that didn't do very well. Now, this is slightly different from this, Michael. These are things that made huge cultural footprints at one point.
Right.
And then have faded to nothing over the course of their time with us. I mean, the elephant in the room, Michael, for us, is Game of Thrones.
What? Sorry?
Yeah, exactly, Michael, precisely. Game of Thrones, Michael, was a show on HBO at one point that was massively successful.
Ben, look, I'm doing my what's that face?
I don't even know what that is. He doesn't even know what that is, viewers.
What's that?
Listeners, these are listeners. He
Listeners,
doesn't even know what that is, ladies and gents.
What's that?
And what makes that all the more bittersweet, Michael, is that was the most successful fantasy series on television of all time.
Ben, at the time that it was at its peak, it was the most successful show of all time.
I think that's that. Yeah, you would know. You're a numbers man, but yeah, definitely. We couldn't, Michael. We would go into work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And people that we know that have no interest in comic books or nerd things or anything
George
like that,
or Martin.
George or Martin would be chatting about Game of Thrones.
What's
And
going on in Game of Thrones?
It was a little bit like the Twilight Zone for a while. It was like, hang on. Did you just mention like White Walkers or zombies or
Dragons?
dragons? What is this? And you could not shake a stick, Michael, but for hitting a Game of Thrones enthusiast.
Now they're all gone, Ben.
They're all gone, Michael, because never has there been a masterclass in the history of humanity in how to just botch the landing.
Ah, Ben, disagree with you there. Lots of things have botched the landing. We've talked about this before, but Lost did it in the previous television generation.
That's true.
Where it was the most talked about show on television for years, and then it botched the landing so badly it's now a bad word. Mass Effect, Ben.
Oh, that's true.
The video game series botched its landing so spectacularly that they destroyed all the goodwill they built up over nearly a decade of video games. They had to release essentially an apology DLC, and then the next game, while having its own problems, was utterly lambasted, Ben, because the fan base just hated the series that they had grown to love.
Oh,
Yeah. Benjamin, I think the really interesting thing about the Game of Thrones situation is I'm pretty sure that they've just released the first trailer for the prequel series to Game of Thrones.
no.
I'm pretty sure, Ben, but I don't know if it's fake or not. And to be honest with you, I don't care to check.
Yeah, I have. You said that to me, and I felt no will to go look at that. I was just like, nah.
Benjamin,
Yeah.
do you remember a meme from maybe 100 years ago where there was a field full of ducks or geese? Geese being, of course, a type of ducks. But there's a small child then, and the camera pans around to her, and there's a field, Ben, there's hundreds of ducks, and she says, "Look at all them chickens."
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that's what they should have called the show about the dragons. They should have just called it "Look at all them dragons," and then people maybe would have watched it.
Maybe.
But probably not, Ben. Because, Ben, it could have been fake. It could have been a fan film. I don't know, because I didn't watch it, because I do not care one iota about the Game of Thrones anymore.
Yeah. Like, nobody does. Nobody cares. Nobody sits there and goes, "Oh, do you remember that moment in season 8? Nobody knows.
No, don't know. Don't remember.
Nobody
don't remember.
Was there 8 seasons of Game of Thrones?
I think so.
I think so. One of the things that went from stratospherically successful to just nothing to nothing. And HBO seems to do this a lot, Michael, because we then got Westworld.
Oh yeah, that was very popular.
And Westworld season 1 was like the biggest thing on telly again, and they had another Game of Thrones on their hands, and da 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 da. Michael, I never saw season 2.
Apparently, there's one good episode, Ben. It's about Indians.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Season 3 is set in the normal world, I think, and it's about a machine revolution.
Why would anybody care, Michael?
No one cares, Ben.
Why would anybody care?
You tell me one quote for Westworld, Ben.
Who signed off on that? Who said, yeah, let's put it in the real world, because that's what people cared about. It wasn't Robot Cowboys. It was, they really care about machine rights, and that's what they were into. The guy from Breaking Bad was in that, Aaron Paul. He was in season 3.
Aaron Paul in it?
He's in season 3. Aaron Paul is quickly becoming the touch of death, Michael, for a lot of shows for some reason. Put Aaron Paul in it. Not getting renewed.
I've never really rated Aaron Paul anyway. I've never seen Aaron Paul be brilliant in something other than Breaking Bad.
I don't even know if he was that brilliant in Breaking Bad. I found his character quite grating in the initial.
He wasn't very pleasant, was he? That was his whole thing.
That was his whole shtick, Michael. That was his whole shtick. But then, Michael,
go on.
As if to prove my point even more, last year saw the release of Lovecraft Country, Michael, which you and I were initially very excited for on this podcast, because I went and read the book, which is excellent, and you should read. Yes. I went and read that, and we watched the first episode, and you and many of our friends and listeners went, that was fucking great.
Yeah, very good.
What a great first episode. And then, Michael, none of us ever watched another one.
I watched up to 4, I think. I think Lovecraft Country is a bit of a different beast, though, to be honest.
Go on.
Because Lovecraft Country never had the cultural impact, which then disappeared, of a Lost, of a Game of Thrones, of a Westworld, but it was always a bit niche.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the problem with Lovecraft Country, I think the problem with Lovecraft Country is very easy to put your finger on. The problem with Lovecraft Country is it was too oddly structured, of being both serialized and an anthology, and that weird way of being structured as both serialized and as an anthology made it very easy to drop out of.
Yeah.
And just go, all right, they've resolved that. I'm happy enough with that.
That's true.
Off I go. I'm away.
That's very true.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
The through line of it was what's going on with the blonde people.
What's going on with the blonde folks?
Once I found out that the blonde people were all one person, I was like, yeah, that is quite a good twist, actually. And then I was like, I'm sure they get their comeuppance in some way.
I'm done now.
Yeah.
I'll have less of that. That's interesting.
Yes. Ben, one of the greatest disappointments for me of the last few years was the Marvel Cinematic Netflix experience.
Michael, a moment's silence for our fallen Netflix universe.
Not too much silence, though, because it is a podcast, Ben. People will turn off. People will turn off.
Also, it doesn't deserve that long of silence. Look, Michael, when you and I first watched the first season of Daredevil, we went, holy fucking shitballs, that's good. We enjoyed it. It was dark. It was moody. It was pretty good. Charlie Cox was a very good Matt Murdock, a very good Daredevil at the same time. The fight scenes, Michael, you'll remember way back, Michael, on our second ever episode, we had one Coach Clive on this podcast, and we went through the fight scene in the corridor, and we just went, this is bloody great.
Very good.
This, Michael, this is cinema. Then we got Jessica Jones, Michael. And just when I thought I couldn't love the Netflix Marvel Universe enough, I watched Jessica Jones season 1 and went, David Tennant, what a revelation. What a creepy fucking dude. It dealt with some serious themes in a really great way. Kirsten Ritter was great to watch. And then we got Luke Cage, Michael. And I remember distinctly going, well, they can't all be winners, can they? It's got some good stuff in it.
It had Mahershala Ali, Ben, as the revelation, as what was his name?
Stickleback.
Stickleback. But I think if you were to put your finger on the point where the Netflix Marvel series came off the rails, it was episode 6 of season 1 of Luke Cage, when Stickleback got killed, and it was the great twist. But that was the beginning of the end of quality decision making.
Because nobody cared, Michael.
Yeah, after that, all
Everyone had
downhill from
invested
there.
in one Marshala Ali and gone, this guy is fucking great.
Look, Ben, he'll be back as Blade and everything will be fine.
Everything will be fine. And then, Michael, we got the TV show White Guys Can't Fight.
Yeah, very good.
And White Guys Can't Fight starred one irritating guy called Danny Rand, who nobody rooted for, Michael. A charisma vacuum. That just kind of made you go, I don't care if this guy saves the world.
Very bad, Ben. I mean, just there were so many bad ideas in that. Him being a Zen martial arts teacher despite having floppy spaghetti arms.
Zero martial arts experience, Michael.
The main baddies being fucking disinterested teenagers. That was the death knell for me. That was when it was like, oh no, we've shit the bed.
We've shit the bed. That's it. Did you know what was worse though, Michael? We got one resurgence of a great spark, and that was John Bernthal as the Punisher. That was an amazing little.
Yeah.
Like the first season of that was great. I don't remember. I didn't see the second season. But.
Exactly, Ben. Having said that, very little cultural impact.
Yeah.
Tell me a great line from the Punisher. Exactly. The Punisher's best line was from Daredevil season 2 when he was in the court and he said, I am the Punisher. I am the Punisher.
He did his best Christian Bale impression and just gave it socks. Gave it socks.
Yes, very little. The old Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Netflix Cinematic Universe they'll fade into memory, Ben. They won't linger. And hopefully some of the best bits of it, for example, Charlie Cox and Kristen Ritter, will get to play those characters again.
Yes, one Charles Coxix and one Kirsten Ritterhouse. Yes.
They're not your strongest efforts, Ben, I have to say.
No, they were pretty poor, Michael. But sure, look, we're moving on to the next part anyway.
Benjamin,
yeah.
Speaking of not your strongest efforts, so Benjamin, we've reached 200 episodes of Michael and Benjamin's podcast, Ben.
It's been a while.
It's been a long while, and we've had one dedicated follower and listener, Ben. Neither of us know who it is. The identity of this person remains a complete mystery, Ben. And
yes, we'll never know.
We'll never know who it is, Ben. But they go by the Twitter name of @podcastwanker.
I can't believe that was free.
It was good. It was just snatched up. So, Benjamin, 200 episodes. And for 200 episodes, our good friend and your enemy @podcastwanker has been providing us with a mean tweet for every single episode, Ben.
For every last one.
What we've done, Ben, is I've taken some of my favourites, Benjamin, and I've texted them to you, and you haven't seen them, Ben, because you don't have Twitter. You're not on Twitter.
I'm not, thankfully.
You're not up on Twitter, Ben, so you've avoided this for 3.5 years. But now it's time for you to face your greatest enemy and your greatest fear. But Ben, we've decided to make a bit of fun of it.
We have.
What we're going to do is you're going to read them all out.
Yeah.
And you're going to then guess which episode they are in relation to.
Well, no, Mick, he's written the episode number on a lot of these.
Yes, but that won't help you, Ben, because you won't remember what episode number it was.
That's fair.
So you're going to have to decide what the episode was about. Now, Benjamin.
Yeah.
I've picked some of, let's be honest, I've picked some that aren't intended to make you cry.
Well, they have anyway, but that's okay.
Yeah. Your safe word, Ben, for this will be, fuck this, I don't want to do this anymore. This is mean.
That's an excellent safe word. All right, you ready?
All right.
Are you ready?
Yes. So let's go with the first one, Ben. I've given you the first one, Ben, is what I think will be the easiest one for the game.
Okay, so let's have a go.
All right.
Episode 155. I imagine Disney feels the same way about Artemis Fowl as Ben's parents feel about Ben. I keep imagining that Disney exec crying himself to sleep.
Yeah, Artemis Fowl wasn't great, was it, Ben?
So that's our episode on Artemis Fowl, the disaster. This is a great game, mainly because it brings us through some of our old episodes, Michael, which makes it very entertaining.
Yes.
So that was the Artemis Fowl episode, and Jesus Christ, that film.
Artemis Fowl, Ben, not good.
Not
a
good.
success.
Not good, right? I haven't read any of these, so I'm very nervous now. Episode 161. There's a theory floating around that Ben is stuck in a time loop that can only be broken if he can make an interesting podcast. He's lived 10,000 lifetimes and is no closer to being set free.
Yes, very good. What I like about that one, Ben, is it mocks both you and also the podcast.
The podcast, the disaster that it is. That is one of our time loop episodes. I'm assuming it's time loop 3.
I think it was, Ben. I think that was the one about what was that show called? What was the film called with Paul Rudd?
With Paul Rudd.
Was it Paul Rudd?
Are you thinking of Andy Samberg?
It was
Is
Andy
it
Samberg,
Palm
yeah.
Springs?
Palm Springs.
Is that all the way back in 61? Was that this year?
I think so.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I think so. I think that was that was a year ago.
Okay, let's try another one. Episode 165. Netflix has produced a massive collection of forgettable shit that seemed like a good idea, but didn't go anywhere. In exciting news, Ben has been recruited as their new VP of forgettable shit that doesn't go anywhere and disappoints customers. Born for it.
Very good.
Michael, it's either Project Power or it's Code 5.
Oh, fuck me, Ben. I'd forgotten about both of those.
It's either Code. Is it Code 8? Code. No, it's Code something. It was the bloody Green Arrow and
The Arrow Brothers.
the Arrow Bros. So that's episode 165. Let me get the other ones. 165. 172. Episode 172. Ben's journalistic integrity has once again been called into question. His description of Mick as tall and slim is grossly misleading. What else is he lying about? Ben has secrets, and we deserve answers.
You see, I think this actually, now in retrospect, that seems more mean about me.
That is more mean about you. He's calling you short and fat.
Yeah,
I
I don't like this guy. If we ever find out who it is, I'm going to beat him up.
Anyway, 172, that doesn't give me a lot to go off. 172 is relatively recent. Oh,
Ben.
yes.
As part of this game,
Yes.
I don't know the answers. I didn't.
Oh, good man. Good man. That makes it much.
Hold on. You spin your wheels there. And
I
I'll look
can't
it up.
spin my wheels. I mean, my journalistic integrity has been called into account several times. Fans of the podcast will know that Ben's Retractions was once a thing. We should probably bring that back. Ben's Retractions was a fan favourite. It even had its own little theme tune at one point. And
People loved it, Ben.
people loved it. People loved it. I have no idea what episode 172 is.
Yeah, me neither.
I have no idea. I'll move on to the next one, Michael.
All right.
Episode 186. I think we can all agree that Tom Cruise's portrayal of an Irishman in Far and Away is much more convincing than Ben's. Ben's is on a very short list of people the embassies have been told to disavow. That's Irishman's Spouse 5, I think.
The one about Tom Cruise?
The one
Ben, if
about
you
Tom
remember.
Cruise. He's a real Ethan Hunt, if you'll excuse the Cockney rhyming slam. There's an excellent response there from Mick and Ben, which is you.
Yeah, that was me, Ben.
That was mainly you. Let's take a look. Episode 189. Ben last knew human kindness when Mick last had abs a long time ago. Oh,
That seems unfair again.
that's unfair to both of us. Hashtag double burn. So he knew what he was doing in that one. 189 is very recent, Michael. 189. Was that the one?
This just goes to show, Ben, how memorable the podcast episodes are.
Well, there was a mean tweet just about that a few minutes ago. I don't know what episode that was, Michael. Was it the one? I think we spoke about Jared Butler for some reason.
Good old Jerry.
Good old Jerry B. I'll keep going there. Mick and Ben. Episode 192. The balls on Ben. The absolute audacity to borrow from the podcast. Criticizing someone for being too long-winded and adding too many of their personal artistic flourishes. Ben's entire life could have been edited down to 2.5 hours. The prick. Wow. What did I borrow from the podcast?
The audacity. The term. The audacity.
Oh, the audacity. I see.
Yeah.
I see. Episode 192.
Very recent, Ben.
The recent ones don't stick at all, Mick. That's not great, is it?
You're on bloody. That was a waste of Michelle Yeoh, Ben.
Oh,
That was
a mistake.
that was about the film. What was that called? That was another time loop episode.
That was another time loop episode. And then we come to our last two here, Michael. Episode 197. Having nothing original to say has never stopped Ben from saying something. He is to podcasts what loud ringing bells were to leprechauns. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This guy has too much time in his hands, Michael. Too much time in his hands. Episode 197. Very, very recent. Still isn't in my brain.
No.
No,
That just goes to show you, Ben.
we shouldn't be making a podcast. This is terrible.
That was the Joel Schumacher Batman films.
Oh, wow. Episode 198. Such was the depth and detail of Ben's knowledge on special forces and black ops. I thought Mick had Joko Willig on as a special guest. No, I jest. I doubt Ben could tie his shoelaces in the dark, let alone run a black op. So that is naturally the last one that we did there. 2 episodes before this, Tom Cruise, Jack Reacher. It's the Jack Reacher episodes. What would we call it?
Ben, I don't know who Joko Wilcock is.
I don't know who it is either.
I guess it's some sort of special forces man.
Obviously a made up one though, one that doesn't do a very good job of telling people special forces stuff. Anyway, that was a mean trip down memory lane, Michael. That was fun. Yeah, we've done quite a few episodes, Michael. 200. It's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a bit of news.
Go on.
We're going to be rebranding from next week's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Next week's episode will see not the relaunch, but the rebranding of our lovely little podcast here. When we set out to name this podcast way back 200 episodes ago, we weren't very good at naming things. So we said, sure, look, we'll call it Michael and Benjamin's podcast, and we can always change it in 2 months when we come up with something better. Well,
Yes, go on.
200 episodes later, that didn't happen. But hey, we finally come up with something. From next week, ladies and gentlemen, we will be the Sure Look, Sure Listen podcast, because we spent so much.
No, hold on. We won't be the Sure Look, Sure Listen podcast.
Oh, go on.
Will we?
Well, I just called it there, but we won't call it there. We'll be...
No, Ben. I mean, if we're doing branding, your branding has to be on point. You can't spend months talking about rebranding the podcast, come up with the name Sure Look, Sure Listen, and then the first time you say it publicly say the Sure Look, Sure Listen podcast. It's just called, Ben, Sure Look, Sure Listen.
Cool. Looking forward to doing another 200 episodes with this lovely co-host. So it will be Sure Look, Sure Listen podcast taking a...
No!
What? We're not
It's just Sure Look, Sure Listen. It's not Sure Look, Sure Listen podcast.
So
it's just Sure Look, Sure Listen.
Sorry, it'll be a Sure Look, Sure Listen podcast.
Oh, fucking hell. This is why it's taken 200 episodes.
We'll be Sure Look, Sure Listen, taking a pop at culture. So you'll be able to keep hearing us in the exact same place, exact same time, exact same schedule. We're just trying a little bit of a rebrand, and we'll be resetting our number count all the way back down to number 1.
It's not because we're embarrassed about some of the older episodes.
No, it's not. Definitely not that. Definitely not that.
But we are.
But that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Also, we would love to be able to go back over some of the older episodes without someone saying, you've already done this.
We've got it now. We can recycle content. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to take this opportunity to say thank you so much to all the people who have stuck with us for 200 episodes. We don't know what's wrong with you mentally, but we appreciate your defect. It's wonderful. So we'll possibly see you in the first episode of Sure Look, Sure Listen.
Oh, very good. Sure Look, Sure Listen. We'll see you next week.
Sure Listen. We'll see you next week. If you want to stick with us, who knows? That's it from us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for 200 episodes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Sure Look, Sure Listen.
Sure Look, Sure Listen.